You not even hungry.
Yeah.
You ain't got no thumbs to open
Go
it.
get it yourself.
He said, well, fine. This'll do. Okay. Hey, Grandma.
Hi, Chantel.
So, y'all, this is my grandma. Y'all met her in a few videos back. Feel free to introduce yourself to the people again.
Okay, once again, Lottie Echo.
Listen.
Lottie Hudson. Glad to be here with my granddaughter, sharing this time and moments. It's beautiful because we don't know how long we have, so we have to take the moment as it comes. I'm grateful.
That's why I'm so happy to have these. Yeah. You really never know, and to be able to share stories and wisdom and put it somewhere where it lives on forever.
That's right.
And strangers can look back on it and gain from your knowledge.
Yes.
So yeah.
I love that.
What other reason are we here for, you know?
That's right. Pass it on. Help somebody along the way.
Because we all go through the same issues.
Yes.
It's like life's problems just recycle. So why not learn from someone else? So let's just dive into, we have a few questions here, but I feel like we're going to end up having a conversation in the midst too.
Okay.
So I'm just going to let it happen. So Chico gave us some questions last time. So I'm going to pull from those again because we didn't finish them.
All right.
First question is from Chico, my homegirl in LA.
Yes.
Who is your like other grandchild too.
Yes.
All right. So her question is, what's one familial trait in your bloodline that you are proud of?
Well, one familiar trait that I'm embracing and know in our bloodline is that we're all hard workers. My grandfather was a hard worker. He worked 2 jobs, and from my mom, she worked, and I'm a hard worker, and I passed that on to my son. I remember, before we go any further, that when I got pregnant with my son early, like I was in the 12th grade, and I had to drop out, and the first thing my mom said to me was, you got to go to work. Not how I'm doing, not I'll take the baby, don't worry about nothing. Oh, we can go back to school. None of that.
Right.
You got to go to work. I was like, okay.
Man.
And I went to work. And I worked 2 jobs for a while.
Wow.
And to try to maintain my household.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of him. And also my mom.
That part.
Yeah. And you're a hard worker.
I'm glad.
You heard of multitasking and all that.
But I feel like just observing and seeing y'all work hard, it made me want to work hard as well. But it also made me want to it's like the next generation. You always want to take it a step further. Like my dad is always like, you conquered or, accomplished so much more than I have or thought of. And I wanted you to have more. And I wanted you to experience more.
Right.
And so seeing how hard y'all worked, and still had fun, still made time to laugh, still made time to get together and eat good food. Cause my daddy is a chef.
And he works real hard.
He works so hard.
This job for 35 years.
Yeah.
And I didn't work on one job that long. I worked several jobs, but to stay on one job for 35 years is
that is dedication.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about commitment.
Yes.
But I also feel like being taught to work hard is it's almost a blessing and a curse, because I feel like when I see other people's family dynamics where the parents are like, oh, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it, or you relax, I'm a da 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 da, or stuff like that. I'm like,
we got to do it.
I'm like, what? I don't even think I've ever had that option. Like, and it's like, would I have wanted the option? Would I still be the woman I am today without kind of having that level of ambition? And like, I have a level of ambition where I'm also, it's like y'all worked hard and like made a way and, maintained. And now in the way that I'm working hard, it's like, I want to maintain, but I also want to find my passions. And I also want y'all to find your passions.
True.
And I want us to have like thriving careers and things that we love, not just things we had to do.
Right.
And so, I just it's like you pick up breadcrumbs on the way and like, you make a feast at the end.
And believe it or not, I'm still picking up breadcrumbs because I still like try to take people to the doctor or whatever, and then I have some new hobby that I'm trying to get a commission on, and shoot, what's the hurry? What's the sit down? I'll rest when I die.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're not gonna go there, but you gotta enjoy yourself along the way.
Absolutely.
Yes, you gotta enjoy yourself and family on the way.
I think this generation, we're really like, we're grabbing all of the nuggets y'all gave us. Like, it's like that quote is so important. Where it's like, I can rest when I die. A lot of people have said that, and therefore, they're gone. Because it's like, you work so hard that you don't make time for the things that you love or the people you love. And so it's like, we took that nugget and it's like, yes, I'm going to work hard, but how do I find balance to be present in the moments that I have with my family? How do I find balance to say, I'm going to work hard on that job, but when I leave that job, I'm not doing it no more. Like, it's like, at 5 p.m., don't call me. Like, how do we create the boundaries that make sense for our lives?
Right. Well, one thing I know is since I've retired, and trying to do other things to work to make ends meet, you still have to find relationships with your friends or outside of your family that's vital too.
Absolutely.
We need
that's quality of life right there.
Oh yes. Oh
my God, we were just talking about that.
Yes.
About like how I was complimenting Grandma on how full of a life I feel like she's created, because like a lot of like our family, everybody older than Grandma in our family has passed on my dad's side of my family. But I think about all the friends that she has constantly calling her, the friends that live on your street, that y'all check on each other. Like, it's a community. You have a fellowship of friendship.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful blessing, because I find that some people, the older they get, feel lonely, or they aren't around other people their age, or it's like, I'm only around these young people, and I like, I'm just getting older.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you have this great community, and it inspires me.
Well, that's good, because you never know who you're gonna need, and you and your father, his family, live so far from me. It's an hour or so away, and sometimes I do get that feeling of being lonely, because I'm the oldest of the family, and we don't have anybody, but I still know that there are people in my life that I've made friends with, and they are friends that I hold on to.
Absolutely.
Because I never know, I may need them right away, So, we cut off so many of our relationships, and, you got to have somebody around, to hold on to. So if you got them, you're not going to be a whole lot of them, but the ones we have, we have that substance, and we be able to talk about stuff. You're able to help me if I need some from the store, anything, take me to the doctor, So that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You've also shown me the beauty of positioning friendships. Like, really evaluating, like, okay, is this person like the like close person to me where I tell them, you know, the vulnerable parts, the scary parts, the like you're able to identify which friend I talk to about what, which friendship, you know, which friendship is just a friend that calls and I just listen. Like, which friendship do I, you know, we get food together from the place up the street, or, and you're really good about accepting your friendships for what they are. And if you do have a problem, you usually address it or something, and you're like, and that's something I've struggled with. So I feel like watching you has just been empowering to be like, you know, if this is a friendship I don't need to be in, go ahead and distance.
That's
or if this is a friendship I want to be in, but there's conflict, girl, why you do that?
Like, because, you know, I realized today, and I've heard this years ago, that, you know, people are in our lives for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. You know, and everybody is not going to always be there. You know, those are the friends that we need to learn a lesson from. And after that lesson has been given or whatever, you know, maybe it's, you know, it's not for us to continue our relationship, you know, and they move on or I move on.
And there's no love lost.
No love lost, you know. And there are many people that I know in my life that I think that I can call right this moment, and I haven't talked to them in a while.
Yeah.
You know, and there are some people that I just maybe text every day. And this is the lady that texts me every day, whether it's automatic or what. I still feel close to them to know that I can call them. You know,
and that's community.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
one can hope, y'all.
Several people, not just one, but you know, there are several people.
Yeah, your people check in. I love that. As much as it used to like drive me crazy, y'all. I used to live with grandma, and like it used to drive me crazy because grandma would always pick up the phone, and like. But I'm also learning now the value of hearing your friend's voice, the value of knowing, like, send me a voice note. Like, don't just send me a text message. Like, when my friends send me voice notes, I can hear in their voice if they're down or they're out. Or I can tell in the temperament or the tone of the text message. I'm like, I might need to FaceTime them. Like, so I'm just so inspired. Speaking of being inspired, I know how much I'm going to absorb from you while you're here. So what are you excited for in the future of our lineage? Like, what are you excited for my kids to see, experience, or absorb from our family or the world?
Well, my hope and prayer is that the younger generation would grasp hold of some of the older people as far as respect. That's a big one. You know, you got to respect people. If you want respect, you know, but you know, the new generation, some of them just didn't know, you know, and I don't hold them accountable. You know, it comes from the household. Who are first people? Because I remember a guy asked me one day, what was your relationship with your first people? I said,
right,
with my first people. Well, we were taught not to, you know, you couldn't say this or say that. You know, stay in your place. But it has gotten so now that I could be gentle with the newer generation, you know, and not such harshness, or, you know, give them a chance to speak, you know. And I didn't understand that at first when you came along and Dad was letting you get away with stuff. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
You're like, you gonna let her say that?
Yeah. And she just wanted a question. She just asked a question, you know.
I had a lot of those.
So, yeah, it's I would like to know that they have learned they have to work. They have to take care and be responsible for themselves, along with their family, you know. And you know, you say work, even if you want to work for yourself, you know, you have to work. You know, you can't, nobody's going to give you nothing free. I used to hear that all the time. You get nothing free. Well, why not?
Right.
You know, why not?
I'm a princess.
Yeah.
I deserve it. Yeah.
But we gotta carry our own.
Even if you get something for free, the reality is in our society, you're gonna have to work to maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think, it's so interesting we're talking about work. Because we're in this new era where a lot of people are like engaging with like sugar daddies, and it's a whole dynamic of like,
sugar mamas,
sugar mamas, I'm gonna be taken care of, and that's fine. But I think the reality is I don't think we grasp the concept that either way you're going to be working. Either way, if somebody's giving you money and you're living with them, or they're putting you up and they're taking care of things, you're going to have to either maintain the home. You're going to have to maintain your looks. You're going to have to maintain your ego. You're going to have to maintain their feelings. Because if they're providing all of the things on a physical level, there's other work that you're going to have to do.
That's right.
And I don't think...
Emotional?
Emotional support. You're going to have to work to maintain such a thing. This society where it's like being taken care of, you're taken care of, but you also have to pay a price for that.
True.
Everything, just like when people are jealous of other people's relationships or jobs or whatever, and I'm like, you don't know what people are really paying, or you don't know what the cost of that is.
Right.
Like,
you pay somewhere. Pay now, pay later. You gotta pay.
All right? Yeah. If you want a healthy relationship, you're gonna have to deal with conflict. If you want to grow closer to your friendships, you're gonna have to be able to call them out.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to be able to call you out. You're gonna have to be held accountable.
Yes.
If you want to be healthy with anybody, that's hard, but it's the cost of having such a thing. That is beautiful. It seems free and it seems seamless, but it's also doing the inner work to maintain it.
That's the most important.
Oh my goodness.
Because if you get in a relationship, friendship or intimate relationship, you still are gonna have to give something. You got to bring something to the table.
Okay.
Even in my younger days, I didn't think I had to bring anything to the table. I mean, here I am.
I am the table.
Yes.
I bought myself.
That's right. And but it doesn't work that way. I had to learn how to respect other people, their opinion. Everybody got opinion. But I have to allow you to talk about it and share with me how you feel. I share with you. Instead of running over here telling whatever, whoever, and then,
I had to learn that lesson.
Yes.
I had to learn that, especially
my goodness.
Like I can't wait to do that video, y'all. All the things I've learned being in my first long-term relationship. Like, you have to hold some things sacred. And if you're going to have a bond with a person, there's a level of trust in that sacred connection.
That's true.
Where it's like, I'm telling you this, and it's like if somebody were to tell me something, friendship, relationship, and I'm on Instagram Live talking about my grandma said last night she did it, like, why am I? That breaks our trust.
Yes.
Our relationship cannot be healthy and close if I'm. That level of trust with
everybody else. Yeah.
And anybody you do share with should be in your trusted network.
That's right.
You gotta gauge energy. Make sure it's the trusted energy.
Oh, so
see, look at us. Y'all know we can go.
We've been off.
So we're excited for the generation to take from the wisdom and the respect. Yes, that's another thing. Gen Z, like my niece and them. My niece is very good about respect. My oldest niece, but she is also a Leo, and she wants to be a lawyer. She's an advocate. She has something to say. Like, when something does not sit right in her spirit or it's not right, she's gonna say it. And I think there's a balance between like respect. Like, she's respectful when she meets people. It's like, hi, how are you? And the truth is, some of our next generation, they're guarded. And it may come off as, like you were saying, disrespect to some people, but like some of my nieces are, I would say all three of them, they're pretty guarded at 1st.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just walk into the room and be like, hi, and they're all in your face. They're not those kids. They're
Right.
the ones that observe you and then
Mhm.
decide if they trust you. And I love that about them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not disrespectful, but there are some kids who just walk in your house and act like
They
it's their house.
And want to
me.
change stuff.
Don't take my picture off the wall. Why? Don't. So it's like, you know, it's the balance. But things that could be perceived as disrespectful once upon a time are now just children finally having boundaries.
Yes, but I still feel, I guess it's still in me, they still have to have a way of saying things and a way of doing it. You know, we have to teach them that. They have to be taught, you know, certain things, you know, because if you just let them run wild, so to speak, or just let them just do everything, you still have to say, well, that's interesting. You want that picture off the wall. But why would you want to move that?
Right.
You know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, get back in their head.
And I feel like that's a technique I've definitely used. Like, when I spent a lot of time with my nephew, I would just be like, well, why'd you kick me? Like, I remember one time he kicked me, and I just stooped down calmly. Well, why'd you kick me? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, let's think about it. If I were to kick you, how would you feel? He's like, I don't like that. And I'm like, well, I think we should treat each other the way we want to be treated. And if I don't kick you, I don't think you should kick me. And he's like, like, he's so smart.
Yeah,
it's really about just taking the time. And I think that's the thing with parenting. You know, you have to have the time and the patience to have those conversations.
That's true.
And not everybody comes from a household with a parent or parents that have that capacity. So the way they learn is through, you know, aunties or grandmothers or
you know, and they do a lot of stuff by sight. You know, it's just what's on TV and these games and all, that's a whole nother subject.
Or what's on the internet, like that girl we were watching that be antagonizing people on the street.
On the street, where you going? Who?
And listen, if somebody else go out there like, girl, ain't no camera watching you. You ain't got no security across the street. You better not be talking to people like that.
It's a camera. They gonna get caught.
So you gotta be careful.
Yeah, you just gotta be careful.
And it's like so much that's a blessing and a curse because we hear so many people's stories and we get access to so much information. It's such a beautiful thing to hear about all the things that we thought were just fact, and now we have different perspectives on it.
True.
And we're like, So, you know, it allows us to evolve.
True.
So you spoke a little bit about, like, people passing on, like, and feeling a little bit lonely sometimes. But I want to know, how do you honor those who have passed on, both your friends and family?
Well, I guess I would say that I honor especially my mom and my dad and grandma, grandpa, by remembering the things that they taught me. You know, I was taught values and respect and all of that, you know, but a lot of times we deviate through whatever avenue where we are, whether people we know and things like that. But I like to honor them. I respect them. My mom and my uncle is here in my house, in their containers, peacefully over there. And I talk to them. You know, my dad's picture's right there. And sometimes you can just sit here and just talk to them. And I do go to visit my grandmother and grandfather's grave occasionally. But they were wonderful people. They were hard working, especially my grandmother and grandfather. They were special, you know, coming up through the era that they did, you know. And I can see why a lot of times they would think not to be asking questions and stuff like that. Maybe that was the way that came up. Because, you know, sometimes you don't know what to do with the information, you know. And they would give you, they wouldn't have time to, you know, like you don't entertain a child on the same level, you know.
You know,
You know.
yeah, with those questions, like not asking certain questions, it made me think about the fact that it might be a safety measure. We were talking about a little bit earlier with like people's trauma responses and toxic behavior. Sometimes it's just their survival mechanism, their safety measure, based on how their life unfolded. And so, like you said, coming up in their era, of course you don't ask questions because that was a time when we were, I would have to say, racially less progressive than, and I wouldn't even say we're totally progressive now because there's still a lot of things going on in the world based on colorism, racism, all of the things, the isms, sexism, homophobia. So we still have a lot of development to do, but back then I feel like if you went asking questions and probing at work or in different spaces, you threaten your livelihood. You ask a question to your boss who's white about something that they said or did, then it becomes, it becomes a threat of your job. Or if you take off too much work, it's like that becomes a threat of your job and your livelihood and your family. You ask too many questions to a man back then, you're being disrespectful. And it's like, but we're the same age. I'm just a woman.
Right.
So times were just different, and as we progress, certain rules don't apply as much. Like we're able to have more conversations, but those things are still ingrained, I think.
But one thing I've learned is that, and you've helped me with that so much, is the younger generation is to allow them to speak, hear what they're saying, because if you shut me up, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not being verbal. It's like I don't have a voice anymore.
Right.
So that just puts a stigma on you to not share or not to speak. Certain things that stay in your place. Yeah. What's my place?
Right.
I have a lot of places.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, explain to me. Why do you want me to be quiet in this moment?
Right. And and don't ask why. Do not ask why. My sister, baby, my sister would ask the question why 10 times, even after the smack.
After the smack. Oh my gosh. I've had that inkling.
But what it does, it turns the question back on us. Do you really know why you said what not to talk? Or did you really understand what you can't answer the question. You don't have a question for that. I mean, you don't have an answer for that question. So instead of you saying, well, baby, I really don't know, let me go find that out, you would tell me just to shut up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ooh. And so it has helped us to dig in, but some of us has gone too far. There's always somebody going too far.
Okay.
But
and know your people, know your safe spaces. There are some spaces where, like, I can come to you and ask a bunch of questions, but I also know how to do it with respect, like you said. Like, I was definitely taught to have a level of respect. But yeah, I was going to say, with people not having the answer, especially like our elders back in the day, it was because we have so much self-awareness now. And the thing is, the youth challenge that because the youth are so overly self-aware. We were talking about how, like, young people absorb evidence. And, like, I'm reading Atomic Habits right now. Reading so much. But, yeah, I'm reading Atomic Habits, and he's talking about how every time we do a good or a bad habit, it gives us evidence that something is good for us or bad for us. And so I feel like children are like that, where it's like, oh, if I do this, then I got a reward. If I do that, I got scorned. Then, okay, so I have evidence that these things are good or bad. Right. Therefore, when children are in that state of mind, asking all these questions, and then adults are like so far removed from that level of self-awearness. Like, I'm just trying to get this money so you can eat dinner. Like, be quiet, get out of my face. Like, I get it and I understand it, but I feel like we're taking a new approach these days, and I'm grateful for that. But I also have a level of respect and reverence for the fact that they didn't have the capacity They didn't have the time. They didn't have the resources.
Yeah.
Like, how can you expect somebody to do something without a manual? Like, y'all want people to be perfect parents, but nobody gives you a manual when that baby comes out your body. Whether the baby comes out your body or you become a parent as an auntie or as you adopt a child, like there's no manual to this stuff. And now we have a lot more resources.
Yeah.
But everybody's opinion is different on how to be a perfect parent. So you really have to just know your people, know your children, know your elders, know your safe spaces.
Yeah, because we all need a safe place.
Right?
I'm telling you.
Oh my God, my therapist asked me, like, where is your safe space? With all the stuff I had going on this year, and guess what I said?
What?
I said going to my grandma's house.
Oh.
I said that's one place I feel safe to just, even when I feel like I'm like gossiping and just talking too much and overwhelmed and anxious and I still feel like it's okay to be that.
Be you. Be you.
You know?
Yeah.
Even if I'm on my way through, where I am now is okay.
That's right. Be where your feet are. Stay still. And I heard a minister preach that one Sunday. It was short. The sermon was short, but it was to the point. Just be still. You know, you find a whole lot in being still. Wake up one morning about maybe 4 or 5 o'clock and just sit in the stillness.
Grandma had to say it, but if I wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock and I sit still,
I'll be asleep.
I'm going back to sleep. I'm trying to get back to waking up early, but I'd be like, if I meditate first,
Yeah, so I had fallen asleep meditating. I don't know what happened. I was walking on the beach.
Like we was going the ocean waves.
Oh man, it was so peaceful. Next thing I knew, I was leaning to the
I fell asleep in the sand. But what you're saying is really good, though. Like, because we talked about that, too. How people are sometimes so busy talking and, like, not really listening to... I was like, even if you don't go sit on somebody's couch, you know, metaphorically, sit still and be quiet. Listen to how you talk to yourself. Yeah. Listen to how... you think about other people. If you really hear, no, if you really listen, it's one thing to hear, but when you really listen to what you're saying about other people, about yourself, about your circumstances, you realize you had all the power to begin with. You spoke that into existence.
But we lie to ourselves so much.
Ooh.
We lie to ourselves.
So good.
I got a plan. I'm going to carry it out. And
we
before we know it, we're doing something else. But I thought you was going to go over here and do this painting of it.
You know how many... I don't even want to count. How many lies
I know. I'm telling you.
I said, Chantel, you're going to work out 5 days this week. 5 days, sis. I said, you know what?
You better take it one day at a time.
I'm going to just let a candle read this book real quick. It's only going to take 30 minutes to ride on that bike. I'm actually going to have some crackers and read this book. Yeah. But it's still good for me. Yeah. It's just good for my mental health. Like, girl, go do something. What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to be known for or as?
I often think about that, you know, if, you know, like if I pass. And when I pass, not if I pass.
Oh, no, you're going to be alive forever.
Okay. But they would be sitting around somewhere talking about me. And they would say, you know, Lottie, she was all right. No, she was more than all right. I would like to be known as a person that was kind, always had her hand out to help somebody. And she was a good listener. I am a good listener. And I am trustworthy, you know, because I lacked that for so many years. I didn't trust people with whatever I wanted to share. I'm not, I don't feel good, or, just somebody I could share my intimacy with. So I want to be known as a trustworthy person and a giver of love, of myself, my time, because time is real important. Because we have it so little, we don't have a lot of time, and I guess being this age, I realize that we don't have enough time to what I want to do, to what most people want to do. I'm pretty sure if we would wake some people up, they would say, I didn't have enough time to love, to care, to be compassionate, or I should have listened longer, or I should have asked them this, So what time we have, we need to use it wisely, and thank God that I'm here this long on this earth, on this planet, that I want to be, not to waste time anymore.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like we spend so much time overthinking the things that we want to do. I think you said to me in a conversation over there something about if you would do, you wouldn't think. And like it's like building discipline. The main thing is to do what you said you were going to do.
Right.
And we overthink the conversations that are hard, or we overthink when it's like if you just have the conversation, you save everybody some time.
Exactly.
We don't have a lot of it. Why leave people in the dark when, and I've been guilty of that. Like, why leave people in the dark when you could just save each other some time, and energy. Like, towards the end of my dating experience, before me and Shy met, I was really big on just, like, telling people, like, hey, I don't think this is going to work anymore. Like, I don't think there's, I don't feel enough chemistry, or, I don't feel like we're a good match. Like, and I, for one, wanted to save, of course, myself time, but I wanted to save them time. I wanted them to really find their person. If I knew it's already a no for me, like,
okay,
you should be able to go find whoever you want and love them.
Do that, yeah. Because most people would try to make it work when, one has already said that it's not going to work, or I don't feel that. And, we just wasting time.
So much of my energy trying to convince somebody to love me when not until that period of time in my life when I understood if somebody is not going to be there, they're not going to be there. Right. And that goes for friends too. Like trying to make people into who you want them to be. Like, just love the ones you have.
Make nobody love you.
No. And you got good ones around you. And it's so important to like shine a light on them and give them that time, because time is precious, and I think more and more people understand that. So when you take time to really be present, one of my love languages is quality time. So when you really are able to put aside your phone, put aside your worries, and really be present and see a person for their full self, that's like top tier love to me.
Yeah.
That is, dang, you love me. You just want to know all about me. You want to get in my brain. I love that. Like, and so it excites me to know that somebody wants to set aside their precious time to be in a moment with me. Yeah.
And so many people have passed on that I wish I could have said this, or I've had the thought, one of my old friends, Al, and he came over here, and he had never been really, I don't think, at my house, or maybe once, but when he came that time and he sat down, there was a question I wanted to ask him, and I didn't do it, and I never got a chance to ask him what did he want me to do if something was to happen to him. And I never got that chance, and I found him dead.
Wow. You found him?
Yes. I had a key to his apartment, and we were just friends, and his family didn't even have a key. You know, and I wanted to ask that question, but I said maybe it's not time to ask him. You know, he not going nowhere. You know, I'll ask him later. You know, but when it comes up, it means, you know, you got to do that.
Yeah.
So many
Wow.
said pass. You know, my cousin. I wish I had a. We went as cousin. She wasn't my real cousin, but she was real sick. And you know, just you want to have time to. One more day, I'll go see you the next day, or I'll come see you. You know, you better go.
You better go. Oh, I felt that in my body.
Better go.
And we were talking about like the whole anxiety thing, and I realized like a lot of family events or whatever I missed out on because of being too anxious. Or like, oh, what if I say this? Or what if I do that? Like the thinking aspect. And it's like, you better go. There should be a urgency in your being when it comes to the people you care about.
That's right.
And the people who care about you.
Yeah.
Wow. Grandma, I didn't know that. I didn't know you had found him or found your friend. How do you process that or digest that?
Well, I don't know. It's just, it just pierced me because I was just like in awe. Because I hadn't heard from him, and I know I used to hear from him every day, if not one day, every other day or something. And I had a friend of his call me at the time I was en route to go there, so he said he would go in there with me. And he brushed past me, and because his TV was up loud, and I think either he was sick, and I don't think that he was listening to TV that loud, but it was on, and it was real loud. You can hear it out in the hall. So I don't know, you know, sometimes when things like that happen, you know, maybe it's a sign, you know, people should, well, you never know. But anyway.
Yeah, because I've seen that with like specifically drug overdoses. Like I've heard that the radio or TV or something was really loud. And I mean, that we never know.
Yeah. That's maybe to warn somebody to come check on him or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had passed on, and it just, I mean, I didn't know how to feel at the time, you know. And then what would I do now, you know?
Yeah.
I know what you're supposed to do, but I just wish I'd asked that question. That's what I wish. Because I would have took care of what it needed to be taken care of.
Yeah, you would have had that
before people just ransacked this place, you know.
Wow.
But anyway. You know.
Well, if that is not a lesson. Just to, you know.
We was talking about lessons. Yeah, we was talking about lessons, you know.
Ask the question. And yeah, because you bring that up, and I know Daddy gets so uncomfortable. He's like, Mom, really? But like, you want us to be equipped, and I think it's because like you've had that experience where you're like, I didn't ask, so I didn't know, and you want us to know.
Yeah, and I know it's something inevitable. It's gonna happen. It's just that, you know, I want you and your dad to know what's up. His wife, you know, I want all the, you know,
the family,
people I love, you know, to know what I would do in this situation. What would Mom do?
Yeah.
You know, not what I want to do.
Okay. This is a random one-off. It's a question that's been in my spirit, and I feel like it's a question I need to ask. This might be a soundbite or something. Or maybe this will be something I put on TikTok, but I don't know. Was it really in my spirit today? How have you seen God show up in your art?
How do I think God shows up in my life?
How have you seen God show up in your art?
Oh, how have I seen
God show up
in my art? It's amazing. I see it when I have an idea of something that I want to paint, and it changes. Like this piece. I started doing one thing, and all of a sudden it changed, and it came out better than I would ever have imagined.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, it's like people have, and I listen to a lot of artists, and they talk about this is what they want to do, and they come out, they paint it, and it's like that. But I'm still in search of my niche. What people can say, oh, I bet Greta Love or Grateful made that. And I haven't found that yet, because if you notice, certain people have their signature art pieces around, and I'm still in search of that. And sometimes it's like life, you just have to go through many stages before you come to that place or that piece of art that serves you.
Absolutely. Oh.
Yeah, so
wow.
God shows up anyway. He can shows up in so many ways, because I've had commission pieces that I've sold, and that's what they like, but it's still pieces I've messed up, and I actually went over it, and it came out better.
Woo!
It came out much better. Yeah. People say, well, what was you thinking when... a guy asked me that not long ago. He said, what was you thinking when you did that? I said, I don't know if I was thinking. If I'm doing something, I'm not thinking. I mean,
it's like you're the vessel.
It's right. It's just he's just using me, because I've never would have thought about all of this.
Yeah.
Thanks to you.
And I'm so proud.
She touched my spirit so, and encouraged me. You can do it. And that's what we need in life, to encourage people.
Y'all, there's artwork everywhere, and it makes me so happy. And I feel like, just listening to you, I'm hearing that God shows up in your self-expression, but also you identifying yourself. Like, I feel like through art, I feel like you're working through it, and you're finding your niche, and you're finding your style, and that's just diving you deeper into yourself. It's diving you closer to home.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's really beautiful to see you just express and get lost in this beautiful world you've created with art.
It's always over, and even that piece over there is a piece that I started doing one thing, and the whole thing changed it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. I like it.
And
I like it a lot.
It's crazy. I don't know if you see it, but I see a man's head, that white, and his shirt in the red at the bottom.
On the right side?
On the left side, you see the white with the head, and like where that green part is on the top right, it looks like an eye area.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I see almost a face with a shirt down at the bottom. So it's like your art can be interpreted so many different ways.
That's why I love abstract art.
Yes.
Because it's a mystery. It's just, you have to look, you have to dive in.
Yeah.
And, I wonder why people will go to museums and just stand there. What are you looking at?
I didn't understand that till I got over here.
I'm saying, what are you standing there looking at? Just look at the picture and move on.
Just look at the picture and move on.
Oh my God.
Girl. But when you think about all the work you put into your artwork, aren't you glad that somebody would stare at it?
They see so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I see a whole person in your painting.
Oh.
And the vibrancy and the chaos, but also the beauty.
And this, I say, letters in this one. It just,
wow.
It's just amazing how it unfolds. So when I ask God before I paint, I just ask Him to make it beautiful. Make it that somebody would want that.
Yeah.
And most of all, that I would love doing it.
Oh my gosh.
That I would love doing it.
That is a beautiful prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, back to this book I'm
Okay.
reading, Atomic Habits. He
Mhm.
talks about like falling in love with the process and not the outcome.
Mm.
Because if, let's say, like you're falling in love because you're like, oh, I got a goal, I got to do 4 paintings. And you finish your 4 paintings. And then it's like, oh, okay, done. But if you fall in love with your process, it's like on Tuesdays I paint this.
Mm-hmm.
On Fridays I do abstract.
Mm-hmm.
It's abstract time. My system
Right.
is that I do this, this, and this on this day.
Mm-hmm.
Just out of habit, out of ritual.
Right.
You're never gonna fall out of love with that.
I see.
You make 4 paintings and sell them. Whatever you fell in love with is gone now.
Mm-hmm. True.
So what you got left?
Mm.
He was like, you
That
set a
paint?
goal, you accomplish it, it's over.
That's
you set
like
a system, you fall in love.
what's the painter's name? Golf Van
Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Yeah.
He said if somebody tell you can't paint, paint.
And
Whew. I heard
that's
my ears. If someone tells you you can't paint, paint.
Oh, that means so much. I literally have a poem about somebody telling me that I couldn't make it doing certain things. A whole poem about it. And so that means a lot to just be that audacious, to be like, you told me I couldn't, I'm gonna do the opposite anyway.
Yeah.
Like, that's bold
Bold.
AF.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing all that you know now,
Mm-hmm.
what advice do you have for Black women everywhere?
Black women, beautiful, 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 beautiful Black women. Give yourself a break. You are beautiful, inside and out. You can accomplish whatever you want. Black women, beautiful Black women. You can do it. You can make it. My advice with you is pray. Have a higher power to guide you to whatever your desire is. If we know ourselves, once we find and know ourselves on the inside, not what we look like on the outside, you know, we always enhance our looks, but on the inside of your spirit, and would ask for help, we can make it through anything. Once we are together, we can be in a good relationship with our mate, if we so choose. We can work wherever we want. We can go to places we've never been before. All of these things are things that would enhance us as Black women. And we don't take any, for a better word.
Yeah.
Because women is always been like the second. We can be first.
Okay.
We are first. Because without us, it would be nothing else.
Okay.
Without us, you need us.
You need the womb of the woman. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had known a lot more than I know today.
Go see something.
But I know what I know, and what I've learned along the way is that I can accomplish anything I want to. So, today, pick up your inadequacies, your fears, and turn it around. Just do the opposite. You know, I can't make it. They don't want me. Oh, they want me, but maybe not here.
Find your people.
Yes, they may not want me here because I'm supposed to be over there. You know. Yeah. No is a complete sentence, but it don't have to be the only sentence. You know. You know, no is a complete sentence.
Right. But there can be another sentence.
There can be another sentence. Oh no. Okay. No, not here.
No,
not here. No, not yet.
I like that. What I feel like what I got from that was to go into rooms like I belong there. Because when I first started my career at Piedmont, I was like the only black woman in corporate. And I remember having a whole breakdown when we were in Vegas at a reception, because all I saw was older white people surrounding me, like just at this fancy reception. I'd never really, like you said, go into rooms you've never been in. I'd never been in an environment like that. And this wonderful guy, John, this gay white guy, pulled me aside, and I was crying. And he's like, "You are loved. You belong here. You're here because you are supposed to be here. Nobody can tell you that you don't belong here." And I was just like, and then he would randomly text me in caps. I literally have a screenshot of a text message he sent me saying, "You are loved." Because I don't think we tell people that enough. You trying to see what's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just those little moments, like being reminded, like no matter what room you step in, you belong there at that time, even if it's redirection to say, this is not the room, because that wasn't the room I was. That wasn't for me. I wasn't passionate. I need to be somewhere else. So I moved to a different space, and you know that feeling when you go there.
Yeah.
You know where your people are.
That's why I say, we always, no matter where we are, just stay where your feet are. Meaning stay within your being. Yes. You know who you are.
I know who I am.
You know, just stay within your being, you know.
Ooh.
It's not the end.
Chico's gonna love that answer.
It's not the end.
She's gonna love that. Stay within your being. Because don't be getting out of character for every little thing. And it's hard.
And the thing, if we had it smooth all the way, we can go on a job and we want to be, say, the vice president or the president of the company, or either we want in another position, just stay there.
Right.
It's you know, you might have to go through some ups and downs. That's because you're going to appreciate what you went through when you get there.
When you get there. But with all of that said, I know y'all got a good little listening, okay? I hope you took some notes, and I hope some of this just manifested in your being in a way that allows you to continue your evolution. Thank you, Grandma. You have anything to say before we close?
Oh, I'm just enjoying the ride, you know, and spending time with my granddaughter means so much to me. As I said earlier, that we can do anything, you know, and we have such good conversations, you know, about life, about whatever we're going through, about life in general, outside of ourselves, you know, and where we fit in, because where we fit in is where we should be, you know. Sometimes I don't feel comfortable in certain settings, but I'm here. Yeah. So let me make the best of it, because it's for a reason, you know.
You can find at least one person to connect with.
Yeah. And for him to come to you and tell you that his spirit was good.
Yeah,
you know.
He's one of the best people I've met.
Yeah.
Like, I never forgot him. Him and this girl, Sarah, that I work with, they were just like two people that made such an imprint on my heart. Not just on my career, so to speak. Who they were as people impacted me. Right. And I think that's so important to find those people.
Exactly.
Well, Thank y'all
Thank
so
you.
much.
We love you.
We love you.
We're going to keep.
Leave comments and keep the conversation going. Let us know what your favorite part was. Yeah, and we'll be back with another one.
Later. Peace.
That was so fun.